Revealed, 7 Miraculous AI Secrets for Divine Manifestation using Neville Goddard's prophecy. In the heart of a quaint English village, where cobblestone streets echoed with the laughter of children playing, the local church stood as a glowing beacon, shining brightly against the darkening ideals of doubt. It was a place where hope could be plucked from the air like ripe fruit hanging from a tree. For Sarah, a devoted mother of 2, this place was both sanctuary and home. Yet, as her husband lost his job, that light began to dim, and darkness crept into their hearts. Each night, Sarah gathered her children, their small hands clasped tightly in hers as they knelt before their faded wallpaper. "We must pray," she would say, her voice trembling with the weight of worry. They bowed their heads, and in those hushed moments, the world melted away. They prayed for guidance and provision, they prayed for hope amidst despair. And in those sacred whispers, a flicker of divine spark ignited, illuminating their souls like the sudden brush of dawn against a cloudy sky. Just then, a miraculous warmth enveloped the room, washing over them as if heaven's embrace had descended. Even the air seemed to shimmer with ethereal energy. It was in those moments that Sarah stumbled upon the teachings of Neville Goddard. She saw a path through the murky waters of her troubles, a way to envision a brighter future, one that could stretch like a canvas before her eyes. She encouraged her children to visualize their needs fulfilled in vibrant detail, and hope bubbled forth like champagne on a joyous occasion, but belief wavered like a candle in a storm when her youngest fell gravely ill. Sarah felt shattered, spiraling into fear as doubts clawed at her heart. The weight of potential loss pressed down on her like lead. Yet, amidst her panic, a small voice within whispered to reach out. "We need the village," she thought. With trembling hands, she invited friends and fellow church members for a united prayer, transforming the village into a living tapestry of hope. Soon, grocery stores buzzed with prayer circles while church gatherings became fiery calls to the heavens. Murmurs of faith ignited, and hearts began to align, every petition rising like fragrant incense into the skies. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days passed, and miraculously, a job offer appeared for Sarah's husband, accompanied by whispers of divine provision that their prayers had summoned. Just as the clouds of doubt began to lift, her child's health began to blossom before their eyes, surprising even the skeptics who stood witness. The village buzzed with tales of healing, hearts warmed by the undeniable presence of faith. Yet, as Sarah basked in the joy of answered prayers, a question loomed larger than life itself in the shadows of her mind. What if faith was more than simply believing? This haunting thought stirred deep inside, complicating the beautiful simplicity of her journey. Was it all just a fleeting moment of divine grace, or was there a deeper mystery awaiting to be unraveled? The village stood at a precipice, yearning to discover what lay beyond faith, what lay on the other side of hope. As the days rolled on, the village felt transformed, a mosaic of renewed spirits and shared triumphs. There was an air of expectancy that filled every corner, as if the very atmosphere buzzed with divine potential. Sarah felt it deeply, a gentle nudge in her heart that something profound was manifesting around her. One sunny afternoon, as the golden rays danced through the stained glass of the old church, the congregation gathered for a special service of thanksgiving. The scent of blooming wildflowers wafted through the open windows, mingling with the sweet sound of laughter. Sarah stood among them, her heart swelling with gratitude. She looked around, and there was James, leaning against the wooden pew, his eyes sparkled with a newfound hope. Beside him sat Mary, her hands clasped tightly, as if grasping the very essence of prayer. As the pastor began to speak, his voice resonated like a choir, a proclamation that reached deep into the souls present. Today we celebrate miracles. We gather, not just to give thanks, but to bear witness to the power of united faith, he declared, his eyes like twin beacons drawing everyone in. The room answered back with an amen, an echo of collective belief that soared to the rafters, but as Sarah listened, her mind wandered. Sure, they had witnessed miracles. Her husband found a job, her child began to heal, but those whispers of doubt resurfaced like shadows in her mind. What had they truly unlocked? Was the village merely caught in a cycle of wishful thinking alongside their prayers? Or was there a deeper connection binding all their experiences together? In the midst of her pondering, something extraordinary happened. A hush fell over the congregation as an elderly woman, Mrs. Hargrove, stood up. Her voice trembled as she began to speak. "I've seen it before, my dear friends, the power of a community grounded in faith. But it's not just about believing, it's about living that belief, breathing it into existence." Her eyes glinted with wisdom, stirring something within Sarah. Mrs. Hargrove continued, "Once, in my youth, I was lost like many of us. I prayed for everything: riches, comfort, and peace. Yet the turning point came when I learned the importance of surrender. To let go of the how and trust in the why of His plan. It was then I discovered not just faith, but the essence of true hope." Sarah's heart raced as she clung to each word. Did they need to surrender deeper than intentions? Was this the mystery she had felt stirring in her soul? The old woman's story revealed dimensions of faith she had not contemplated before, the essence of complete trust in God's wisdom. As the service drew to a close, Sarah felt invigorated, lifted by the shared experience but still caught in a web of contemplation. The church bell chimed, echoing through the village, and as the sound faded, another question emerged, even more pressing than the last. What did surrender truly mean in her life? Was it releasing control, or was it something more? With hearts ablaze and minds racing, the congregation spilled out into the streets, each a spark of possibility. And Sarah, standing at the threshold of something profound, felt the winds of change swirling around her. What awaited her on the other side of surrender? The village whispered, the world awaited. Could faith be a deeper journey intertwined with surrender? What revelations would unfold when they truly let go? The mystery lingered, drawing her forward into an unknown chapter, beckoning her to discover the richness of divine trust. As Sarah stepped outside the church, the warmth of the sun wrapped around her like a comforting shawl. The laughter of children echoed nearby, their innocence a reminder of the joy that faith brings. Yet even amidst this light, shadows lingered in her heart. The journey of surrender seemed daunting, a path she had yet to tread fully. Her thoughts danced between fear and faith. She remembered Mrs. Hargrove's words, how surrender involved letting go of control. But how could she truly release her tightly clenched fists? What would it mean to trust so completely? "Sarah." A familiar voice jolted her from her reverie. It was David, a young man she often saw helping the elderly around the village. His warmth radiated as he approached, his eyes filled with enthusiasm. "Did you feel the spirit in there?" It was electric. She nodded, the flutter of shared excitement igniting a spark in her soul. "Yes, it was something special. But I can't shake this feeling inside. I'm trying to understand what surrender really means." David considered her words carefully, as if weighing each thought on a balance of wisdom. "You know, surrender isn't about giving up control, it's about handing your worries over to God. It's like planting a seed. You can't make it grow, but you can nurture it." His analogy struck a chord. He continued, "And remember, even when you can't see the roots, they're still there, digging deep for nourishment." A newfound resolve stirred within her. Could this be the turning point? She felt as though she was on the brink of a revelation, just waiting to cross over into understanding. As they walked down the street, Sarah asked him, "Have you ever experienced a moment where you felt you had to let go, to trust even when it felt impossible?" David paused, his expression shifting to thoughtful nostalgia. "Once, I faced a situation where everything seemed to fall apart. My father fell ill, and I felt like I was sliding into despair. I thought I could fix things if I just worked harder, prayed harder, but it nearly broke me. Then one night, I was praying. I felt a presence, a warmth, like God was saying, 'Trust me.' It wasn't easy, but I let go of my fears and surrendered. Miraculously, things started to shift. My father improved, and I found peace amidst the storm." Sarah's heart quickened at his story. The thought of peace amidst the chaos beckoned her. If surrender could bring such transformation, perhaps her own life could be filled with light. As they reached the village square, she noticed a group gathered around a large oak tree. Curious, they joined in. Laughter erupted as the storyteller wove tales of adventure and miracles, capturing hearts with each word. The atmosphere thrummed with excitement, a kaleidoscope of joy woven from vibrant lives. Amidst the laughter, Sarah felt a wave of yearning for something more profound, a deeper understanding of this miraculous surrender. Could she truly embrace it? Suddenly, the storyteller paused, his gaze piercing through the crowd, landing on her. "You, dear one, what do you seek?" His question echoed in her heart. What did she seek, truly? Was it peace? Clarity? Something else? With the weight of her emotion building, she whispered a prayer within, feeling every eye on her. "I seek understanding of my faith of surrender." The storyteller smiled knowingly. "Then let it lead you. The path may twist and turn, but remember, the journey reveals what's hidden in your heart." As the crowd echoed their approval, Sarah felt the bonds of reluctance begin to loosen. Something inside her stirred, a craving for deeper faith and connection. What would this journey of surrender unveil? Would she discover a richness of trust that redefined her path? As twilight painted the sky, Sarah stood on the threshold of the unknown, a canvas of possibility stretching before her. What awaited her as she embraced this transformative leap? The mystery thrummed in the air, beckoning her to answer the call of divine revelation. The evening air turned cool as shadows stretched across the village square. Sarah took a deep breath, allowing the richness of the moment to wash over her. The storyteller began again, his voice weaving through the crowd like a gentle breeze. Each tale he shared felt like a lift of the veil, offering glimpses into realms both known and unknown. "Stories," he proclaimed, "are mirrors of our souls. They reveal, reshape, and redeem us." Each word resonated in Sarah's heart, filling the spaces where uncertainty lurked. She stepped closer, feeling the collective energy from the audience, a unity in shared hope and longing. As a wave of anticipation swept through her, she thought of David's story. How had he found peace amidst despair? What lessons had flowed through him during his moments of surrender? She longed to uncover her own depths, to discover the treasures hidden beneath her doubts. In that sacred space, an elderly woman approached Sarah, her face a tapestry of wisdom and experience. "Child," she said softly, "I felt your heart calling out. Surrender doesn't mean being passive. It means walking in faith, taking one step at a time, embracing both the light and the shadows." The words felt like a balm on Sarah's soul. It clicked the active nature of surrender. A willingness to move forward rather than remain stagnant in her fears. It was not something she could do alone, it was a dance with God, a partnership where trust paved the way. "What do you fear?" the woman continued, her gaze steady. It pierced through the layers of Sarah's uncertainty. "I fear losing control of my life, my choices," Sarah confessed, her voice barely a whisper. "Ah, the illusion of control," the woman chuckled gently. "When we try to control every moment, we miss the beauty of divine timing." Something stirred within Sarah. She imagined her fears floating away like leaves on the breeze, a release to the divine gardener who tended to her heart. The imagery sparked a sensation of lightness. Suddenly, surrender felt less like a daunting abyss and more like a gentle embrace. With renewed fervor, she turned back to the storyteller, eager to absorb the next tale. "Long ago," he began, his voice rich and melodic, "a man faced a great storm. He prayed for deliverance, yet it was through the storm that he found his strength." Every word captured her, painting pictures in her mind. With each story, she felt chains of doubt breaking, revealing an emerging spirit vibrant with possibility. When the storyteller finally finished, a hush passed over the crowd. In that silence, Sarah felt something shift within her. It was like a dam breaking, letting forth a river of grace and understanding. She closed her eyes, envisioning herself letting go of her tightly clenched fists. The weight lifted. Her heart swelled with revelation. Surrender was not a destination, it was a journey filled with hope and resilience. As the crowd began to disperse, David sidled up to her. "What are you feeling?" he asked, a knowing look in his eye. I think she paused, searching for the right words. I think I'm beginning to understand. Surrender is less about loss and more about discovery. Each step I take, it feels lighter. David smiled warmly. That's the spirit. Faith is a journey, not a sprint. Suddenly, Sarah felt a tug within, a pull towards something greater. What awaited her beyond this moment of awakening? Would her newfound understanding lead her to deeper connections, deeper faith? As they walked back toward the church, the sky began to glitter with stars, each a distant reminder of infinite possibilities. What divine surprises hid beyond the horizon? What further lessons would her heart discover as the journey of surrender unfolded? A sense of wonder enveloped her. In the embrace of faith, everything was possible, and the adventure was only just beginning. As they walked, Sarah's thoughts swirled like the leaves dancing in the gentle evening breeze. She looked up at the stars twinkling above, feeling a kinship with their shimmering light. Each star was a story, a promise, a reminder of the Creator's mastery over the vast universe. How many prayers had been whispered under this same sky? David's voice broke through her reflections. You know, the stories we listen to often ignite something within us, he said. They may lead us towards our own revelations. I hope so, Sarah replied, her heart racing with anticipation. It was more than hope, it felt like a divine invitation. What if my own story is waiting to be written? They approached the church, its warm light spilling onto the path, pulling them closer. Inside, the familiar scents of wood and candle wax wrapped around Sarah like a comfort. She remembered the times she had sat in the pews, her heart heavy with unspoken burdens. But tonight was different. She felt unshackled, ready to explore the treasures of her spirit. Do you think we have a say in how our stories unfold? Sarah asked, glancing at David. Absolutely, he said, his eyes glimmering with understanding. We can choose how we respond to life. Our faith helps steer us. It's like being co-authors with God in our journey. His words resonated deeply within Sarah. If they were indeed co-authors, then that meant she had the power to choose faith over fear, choose hope over despair, choose joy amidst uncertainty. A sense of excitement bubbled up inside her, and she felt as if the very essence of life was urging her onward. Just then, a warmth filled the room as a soft melody began to play on the old piano in the corner. The dim light cast shadows around the space, and one by one, people began to gather, their faces illuminated by a renewed sense of purpose. The music floated through the church like a prayer, blending with the heartbeats of those present. The energy surged, and Sarah felt compelled to join in. She stepped closer to the piano, feeling the vibrations of the music reverberate in her chest. She closed her eyes, letting the melody guide her as memories of her struggles and triumphs intertwined, creating a beautiful tapestry of her journey. David stood beside her, a reassuring presence. Let it flow, Sarah. This is your moment. Surrender to the song. Tears welled in her eyes, not from sadness but from a profound release. Each note carried away the remnants of her fears. She surrendered to the music and found herself singing along, her voice mingling with others, creating a chorus of voices that lifted higher and higher into the rafters. After what felt like an eternity, the song drew to a close, but the warmth lingered. The crowd erupted in applause, their joy palpable, yet it felt as though something deeper had been exchanged, a sacred bond formed in shared vulnerability and strength. As Sarah turned to David, her heart racing, she caught her breath. I felt connected. Like we all shared a piece of our stories just then. Exactly. He exclaimed, his enthusiasm contagious. That's the beauty of community, finding strength and hope together. Each of our stories intertwines, creating something magnificent. But amidst her joy, a question lingered in the quiet of her heart. What next step awaited her in this unfolding journey? With excitement bubbling within her, she glanced back towards the church doors as if an unseen light beckoned her. What would she discover as she walked further along this path of surrender? What blessings awaited in the journey yet to come? As they exited into the cool night, a shiver of anticipation ran through her. Answers were swirling just out of reach, and she felt an undeniable pull towards the unknown. What divine insights lay hidden ahead? How would faith continue to weave its magic in her life? The adventure was indeed only just beginning. The night air was crisp as Sarah stepped out into the darkness, her heart still singing with the echoes of the music that had joined them all together. She cast one last glance back at the church, feeling a profound sense of gratitude wash over her. The flickering candles looked like stars themselves, each one illuminating the journey they'd just shared. "What do you think comes next?" she asked David, her voice barely a whisper against the stillness of the night. She sought deeper wisdom, more clarity. David paused, reflecting. "I believe the next steps often reveal themselves when we align our hearts with that sense of purpose. Let faith guide your steps, Sarah. Sometimes, it's in the waiting that we find the strongest revelations." Her brows knitted together, a flicker of uncertainty clouding the joy swirling within her. "But how do I know I'm following the right path?" "The path is yours to discover," he replied softly. "Trust those moments of clarity, those nudges from within. They often lead to divine encounters." He smiled at her, as if to chase away the shadows of doubt creeping into her mind. Sarah took a deep breath. Perhaps it was true. Perhaps she held the power to shape her journey, where faith and courage combined could create a path lit by divine light. They walked in companionable silence, the cool night air wrapping around them like a gentle embrace. As they ventured further away from the warmth of the church, a flicker of movement caught Sarah's eye, a figure standing alone by a tall oak tree, bathed in silver moonlight. There was something familiar about her, and as they drew closer, Sarah could see that it was Mrs. Thompson, the elderly widow who frequented the church. "Good evening, dears," Mrs. Thompson called out, her voice warm and inviting. "I was just enjoying the night and reflecting on the beauty of it all. Would you care to join me?" "Of course, Mrs. Thompson," David replied. They stepped closer, intrigued by her presence in the stillness. "Have you ever thought," Mrs. Thompson said, her eyes sparkling like the stars above, "of the stories that trees could tell? They've stood the test of time, witnessing countless seasons and changes. Just like us." Sarah nodded, captivated by the image. "What lessons do you think they hold?" A smile graced Mrs. Thompson's face as she sat down on a nearby bench. "Patience, my dear. They teach us to stand tall even through the fiercest storms. Their roots run deep, anchoring them to the very earth, much like our faith anchors us. In every season, they bloom in their own time." As she spoke, Sarah felt the warmth in those words sink deep into her heart. Each season of her life had already held challenges, but also growth. Had she been patient enough? Had she trusted enough? "What's blooming in your spirit right now?" Mrs. Thompson asked, her gaze steady and kind. The question lingered between them, enveloping Sarah in a moment of introspection. I think I'm starting to see the beginnings of who I want to be," she admitted, a sense of determination igniting within her. "Wonderful!" exclaimed Mrs. Thompson. "Remember, blossoming doesn't come from haste but from consistent, gentle nurturing. What you feed will flourish." David nodded eagerly. "That's a beautiful reminder. Understanding what we nurture is vital, isn't it?" Sarah felt buoyed by their conversation, a sense of purpose reawakening in her. As she stared up at the stars again, a thought struck her. What if this moment was just the beginning of the revelations she yearned for? "You may discover gifts as you nurture your spirit, Sarah," Mrs. Thompson's voice broke into her thoughts. "God loves to surprise us, doesn't he?" Sarah felt the warmth of hope wrap around her like a soft blanket. "Yes, he does." Just then, a chilling breeze swept through, carrying whispers of the night and a hint of the unknown. What gifts lay waiting in the depths of her journey? How would her newfound resolve shape the chapters yet to come? Sarah looked at David and Mrs. Thompson, excitement mingling with the mystery of it all. And as they embraced the night, she couldn't help but wonder what miraculous experiences awaited just beyond the horizon. The silence of the night stretched, filled only with the soft rustle of leaves and the gentle chirping of crickets. The cool breeze whispered secrets, and somehow, Sarah felt enveloped in a cocoon of divine possibilities. She dared to dream that the adventures ahead could lead her to understand her true self even more deeply. "Sarah," Mrs. Thompson spoke gently, pulling her back from her thoughts. Never underestimate the power of intention. Each thought you nurture is a seed planted in the garden of your soul. The image of a garden nestled within her heart surged to life. Each hope, each fear, each prayer was a seed that could sprout if given proper care. But what was she nurturing? The budding realization settled in her chest, changing the rhythm of her heart. David, sensing her contemplation, added, "Intent is like a compass, Sarah. It guides your steps toward where you need to go. Trust it to lead you." Intention, Sarah repeated, allowing the word to settle. What if my intentions are unclear? Then it's time to quiet the noise around you, Mrs. Thompson advised. In stillness, we often hear the softest voice of truth. You might find clarity in prayer, in meditation, or simply in moments of silence. As she focused on those words, the world around her seemed to still. The stars twinkled brightly above, ancient witnesses to the countless dreams and prayers that had danced beneath their light. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, visualizing the soft glow of the stars pouring inward, filling her with warmth and peace. "Wouldn't it be wonderful," David said, a far-off look in his eyes, "if we could all see the ways our paths intertwine? Sometimes, it's not just our journey but how we touch those around us that reveals the grander picture." "Yes," Sarah replied, opening her eyes with newfound light. "I want to be a source of encouragement, a light for others just as you both have been for me." Mrs. Thompson chuckled softly. "That, my dear, is a beautiful intention. And remember, as you shine, you will attract others who are seeking light too." Just then, an unexpected rush of wind swept through the area. It swirled around them, rustling the leaves and wrapping around them like an embrace. In the distance, a faint sound mingled with the whisper of the wind. It was a gentle but persistent melody, a tune that seemed to beckon to Sarah, compelling her to listen closely. "Do you hear that?" she asked, tilting her head to catch more of its essence. When David and Mrs. Thompson nodded, Sarah felt a surge of excitement mixed with curiosity. It was not merely music, it felt like a call to something deeper. An invitation to step beyond the familiar and into the unknown. "I think we should follow it," Sarah suggested, her heart racing with the thrill of the adventure. Mrs. Thompson smiled knowingly. "Sometimes, the path ahead is revealed through the most unexpected tunes. Let us follow, but remember to keep your heart open, dear." They began moving towards the melody, guided by the haunting notes reverberating through the air. Each step felt significant, laden with potential and the promise of discovery. As they walked, thoughts of what lay ahead flooded Sarah's mind. Would her gifts truly reveal themselves in this unfolding journey? Could she harness the strength to share her light? In that moment, surrounded by the nighttime chorus, Sarah realized she was not simply walking but stepping onto her divine path. And somewhere in the recesses of the night, a whisper emerged from her heart, compelling her to believe that the journey of self-discovery was just beginning. What awaited on the other side of this melody? A revelation, perhaps one that could forever transform her understanding of faith and purpose. The melody grew stronger as they ventured deeper into the embrace of the night. Each note seemed to dance around them, wrapping them in a warm cloak of mystery. Sarah's heart pulsed in rhythm with the music, each beat echoing with anticipation. "Do you feel that?" David asked, looking at Sarah with eyes full of wonder. "It's as if the air itself is alive." "Yes," Sarah breathed, almost in disbelief. "It's like there's a story waiting to unfold." Mrs. Thompson nodded, her gaze fixed on the darkened path ahead. "Every journey into the unknown holds lessons. Embrace them, for they will help you discover more about your true self." As they walked further, the path opened into a small clearing, bathed in moonlight. It seemed untouched, sacred, as if time had paused here, just for them. The ethereal melody pulsed around them, swirling through the trees and weaving among the flowers, awakening pieces of Sarah's soul. Just then, a figure emerged from among the shadows. A woman, clothed in a shimmering gown that sparkled like the stars, appeared before them. Her presence radiated warmth and an almost tangible light. "Welcome, seekers of truth," the figure spoke, her voice a melody that blended perfectly with the one in the air. "I am Harmony, the keeper of dreams and intentions. You are drawn here for a purpose." Shock danced on Sarah's face. "Are you real?" Harmony smiled, revealing kindness and understanding. More real than you might imagine. I am here to guide you towards your true intentions. Each of you has a unique purpose, a divine gift waiting to be uncovered. David stepped closer, curiosity glittering in his eyes. But how do we discover them? What must we do? Harmony extended her hand, inviting them to step closer. Through the power of connection. You must lose yourselves in the song of life. Trust the melody, and it will reveal the paths intertwined between your hearts. Sarah felt a rush of energy at the thought. Could this mesmerizing music lead her to her truth? But a doubt crept in. What if I can't hear it? What if I don't understand? Harmony's gaze softened. Listen with your heart, not just your ears. Allow the vibrations to resonate within you. The answers you seek lie in the quiet spaces of your soul. Your fears, your hopes, all align with the melody. Do not shy away from them. As she spoke, the clearing began to shimmer. Flowers glowed brighter, and the wind picked up, carrying the notes higher. Sarah noticed a small gathering of people forming around them, drawn by the music. Each face held a look of searching and longing. Everyone has come in search of the same thing, Mrs. Thompson whispered to Sarah, her hand resting gently on her arm. We are all made for connection. Look around, we are never truly alone. The realization washed over Sarah like a wave of profound peace. Here, among friends and new faces, they were all seekers of a shared dream of clarity, purpose, and light. Harmony smiled, a knowing smile, as if she understood the bond that was forming within the clearing. Now is the time to leap into the unknown. Let the music carry you further into your journey. With a deep breath, Sarah closed her eyes as the melody enveloped her spirit. It was a celebration of life, a diving into the depths of intention. She could feel the blossoming within her, the seeds Mrs. Thompson spoke of beginning to stir. As the night deepened, the chords of the melody began to shift and twist, creating a beautiful tapestry of sound. Each note felt like a thread weaving the community together in a celebration of shared dreams. Just then, as Sarah felt herself caught up in the beautiful chaos of it all, a thought surfaced. What would the music reveal if she had the courage to dive in completely? A surge of curiosity and determination flowed through her. An unexplored adventure lay before them all, and with it, an awakening of powers they had yet to comprehend. What would be the first step on the journey of revelation? And what truths might they uncover, buried beneath layers of intention and melody? Just as Sarah embraced the thought, Harmony's voice resonated through the clearing, as if the very air was infused with her presence. Feel the unity around you. This melody is not just sound, it is the heartbeat of creation itself. The crowd swayed gently, drawn together by an invisible thread of hope and anticipation. David took a step forward, his gaze unwavering. What do we do next? How do we find out what lies within? Harmony's eyes sparkled like the stars above. It begins with acknowledging your fears. Each person here carries a burden, a fear that dims their light. Share your truth with one another. Speak your heart, and let the song lead you to healing. Sarah's heart raced at the invitation. The thought of revealing her hidden fears felt both frightening and liberating. Can we really do that? She whispered, glancing at David and Mrs. Thompson, who offered encouraging nods. Yes, David said, his voice steady. We can. We are bound by our search for understanding. If we're to uncover our true selves, we must be brave. With a shared glance, the circle of seekers held hands, forming a tapestry of hope. The music, once a gentle breeze, thickened like honey, wrapping around them with warmth. I'll go first, Mrs. Thompson volunteered, her voice soft yet firm, commanding attention. I fear that my life's purpose is beyond my reach. I think I've lost the ability to dream. Gasps echoed among the crowd, a collective recognition filling the space. Harmony nodded, her presence surrounding Mrs. Thompson with a comforting glow. Thank you for your courage. In sharing your fear, you've already begun to let the light in. Together, we will work to lift that burden. The melody shifted, its tempo quickening as it responded to Mrs. Thompson's honesty. Others began to share their fears, a young man who felt unseen, a woman weighed down by doubt, and finally Sarah. "I'm scared I want to discover who I really am," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "That maybe I don't have a purpose worth reaching for." At her confession, the clearing fell silent. Harmony stepped closer, her gaze piercing yet compassionate. "Every fear is a door leading to a greater understanding of yourself. When you face them, you unlock the truth within. The music will guide you, allow it to unravel your hidden thoughts." As she spoke, the air vibrated with energy. The notes transformed, weaving individually into a collective symphony that echoed the deepest desires of their hearts. Each person in the circle felt a sense of release, as if the shared burden carried by one became a weight lessened for all. Carried by the melody, Sarah closed her eyes again and breathed deeply, feeling the music resonate somewhere deep inside. The walls she had built began to shake, allowing light to filter in, revealing corners of her heart she wasn't even aware existed. Harmony began to sway, her gown glowing brighter with each movement. "Now, as you stand together, visualize your fears being transformed into possibilities. What dream has been locked away too long?" Imagination started to take wing. The community of seekers began to paint vibrant images in their minds, visions of hope intertwining like vines through the canopy of the trees above. Sarah visualized herself standing on a hill, arms open wide, embracing the world. Suddenly, the scene shifted, swirling through a transition that left Sarah breathless. "What is happening?" she thought, her heart racing with wonder. "There is a power when dreams align," Harmony exclaimed, her voice cutting through the beautiful chaos. "Now release your intentions into the melody. Speak them out loud. Claim them." As people began to declare their dreams, freedom, purpose, love, a crescendo rose within the clearing, enveloping them in divine energy. That sacred atmosphere of vulnerability and courage, Sarah felt an overwhelming pull of divine mystery. The night was alive with possibilities, each chord revealing layers of truth, each voice vibrating with newfound hope, and as the climax of the melody surged, promising revelations rippling through the night. A thought sparked in Sarah's mind. What if, in their declarations, they could create something magnificent together, something greater than any individual dream? Would their combined intentions spark a divine transformation that none could have predicted? With her heart wide open, she stood ready to witness the unfolding journey. The heavens were unfurling a tapestry of stars as the melody swelled, wrapping Sarah and her companions in a cocoon of divine hope. The air shimmered with possibilities, and the profound energy of connection pulsed like an electric current. Each voice in the circle became a thread woven into the fabric of a greater narrative, uniting their hearts as they shared their dreams aloud. Sarah could feel her spirit lifting, her burdens easing, as vulnerability ignited courage throughout the circle. "Freedom!" shouted a voice. "Purpose!" echoed another. "Love!" exclaimed a third. Each declaration reverberated around them, crafting a symphonic wave of hope that reached up to the heavens. Sarah's heart soared with each affirmation. She could feel the warmth of God's presence flowing through them, amplifying their intentions, making them tangible. In that moment, Sarah realized she wasn't just a seeker, she was now an active participant in crafting this beautiful reality. "I seek peace," she proclaimed, her voice strong, quaking with newfound confidence. "I seek clarity." The melody responded, brightening, as if the universe recognized her commitment. Harmony stepped closer, her gaze shimmering with wisdom. "Well done, my dears. Faith, when coupled with intention and courage, manifests in miraculous ways. But now, with eyes open, feel the truth of your collective power." The group held its breath, caught in the moment, as the music began to flourish, intertwining the dreams into a single, powerful chorus. Suddenly, a change washed over the clearing. The once gentle notes surged into a magnificent crescendo that echoed with laughter, joy, and raw connection. Sarah's heart pounded, she felt the intertwining threads of their souls resonate. A vision blossomed within her, an image of her community stepping forward in faith, each person illuminated by the light of divine purpose, moving together towards their dreams. And as she gazed around, Sarah noticed a transformation unfolding. Each face reflected a renewed hope, an expectancy that had been dormant for far too long. The shadows of fear began dissipating in the warm glow of divine love. This was more than a moment, it was a divine movement, an awakening. What will we do next? Someone asked, eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Sarah smiled, her heart warm. We continue together. We take these dreams out into our lives, nurturing them and sharing them with others. Our community has the power to lift one another, to believe in each other. The air filled with murmurs of agreement, each voice adding to the collective dream. They would hold hands and hearts, uplift one another in their quests, creating a tapestry of support woven from mutual faith and love. Every word exchanged intensified their bond as they stood shoulder to shoulder, a hopeful sea of determination. Now, while the melody still flows, let us offer our dreams to the universe, harmony encouraged. Visualize them unfolding as you place them into the song of life. They shall not be lost, share them as you step forward. With eyes closed and hearts open, they began to silently release their intentions. Each thought transformed into a vibrant image, spilling forth into the universe like stardust, hope becoming tangible, dreams unfurling against the backdrop of night. Suddenly, the melody shifted once again, the notes grew bolder, wrapping tighter around the group. Sarah felt her heart race, not with fear, but with undeniable joy. This was life, alive and singing with possibility. As their visions released into the night, the air thickened with divine energy. The earth beneath their feet felt charged, waves of resonance ignited the clearing, pulsating with gratitude and joy. Sarah looked at Mrs. Thompson and David, their smiles glowing with the weight of shared purpose. Hope had indeed blossomed, her journey of surrender was transforming into something magnificent, something meant to be shared. As the final notes shimmered into silence, a quiet settled around them, each person lingering in the embrace of sacred connection. Now, claim your unity. Harmony urged softly. Share the first steps you will take to embrace your dreams. Speak them with clarity. Sarah took a deep breath, confidence surging within her. In the coming week, I will reach out to others in our village who have struggled. I will share my journey, and encourage us to share our dreams. A wave of agreement rippled through the group, hearts echoing her declaration. David stood tall. I will organize prayer circles to keep our intentions alive, to remind us of the power of faith and community, no matter the obstacles we face. Responses, declarations, and commitments blossomed, igniting a flame of excitement. They felt like a choir, each voice distinct yet blending harmoniously to create something profound. Despite the challenges ahead, they were ready to walk together, to nurture one another towards their dreams. Harmony beamed at them, radiating blessings as she watched the light of hope grow stronger. Beloved souls, remember, the journey is as sacred as the destination. Keep sharing, keep believing. Your light will guide others searching for theirs. As the night began to wane, the stars shone brighter, a celebration of the divine connections made. Sarah stepped outside the clearing, taking in the beauty of the moonlit night. She felt different, lighter, as if burdens of the past had been replaced with threads of faith. The village, once a canvas of uncertainty, had now transformed into a tapestry of shared dreams and mutual support. Walking back hand in hand with David and Mrs. Thompson, she felt the winds of change swirl around them, promising divine revelations ahead, as she finally realized the journey of surrender wasn't an end but a glorious beginning. And in that moment, Sarah knew she was home, and every step ahead would be a joyful adventure, led by unwavering faith and community love, blooming in divine metamorphosis. So now, dear friends, this is the moment you take action. You need to subscribe now. Don't miss out on our exclusive faith stories that strengthen your spirit. Leave a like now to help spread this uplifting message. Seriously, it makes a difference. Comment your thoughts and blessings from this uplifting journey. Your words bring light to our community, and share immediately with at least 5 friends who are longing for hope and divine connection. This is your chance to be part of something brighter than ever before. Don't wait a single second, step into the light.